Foley is the dark horse of filmmaking. It turns your film from this into this. After creating Foley for the last 5 films on this channel, I've learned a few things which will help you record a great Foley track for your next film. Welcome to the Film Look. If you need footstep sounds for your next film, then check out the Film Look Footsteps Sound Pack. It includes over 200 sounds on 9 surfaces with 6 different types of footwear. And they also feature a range of stepping sounds including standard, heavy, light, shuffles and even jumps. Each pack is sold by Surface, so you just select the pack you need for the scene in your film. If you want to support this channel and help us keep the lights on, you can find the Footstep pack over at thefilmlook.com/store. Number 1. Footsteps are never alone. If you've done any Foley for your film, I imagine you've recorded or edited some footstep sounds. Footsteps are the most obvious, run-of-the-mill sound effects you add into your scene, and usually I will tackle these first, but they always sound better when they are layered with other Foley. What I like to do is break down the possible sound elements associated with each character in each scene. Let's take this example from Lost in the Forest, which we filmed for this Foley series. The character produces sounds from his footsteps, his coat, his backpack and his map. These are all moving as he walks and will produce their own sound effects. So if we record each of them and layer them into the scene, it turns it from this into this. Which brings me on to number 2, how to record clothing Foley. When I first started recording Foley, I used to wear the clothing and try to move around and mimic the character on screen. This doesn't produce a clear enough sound to layer in with everything else. I found you need to exaggerate the sound to be effective. So instead, take off the coat and bunch it up into a loose ball in front of the mic. Instead of mimicking the actual steps, just mimic the swing and movement of the character. The clothing will produce some unique sounds depending on how you handle it. So experiment and try to find something which fits the scene. Number 3. Accurate handling. The next thing we need to record is a paper map. A prop like this can produce 1,000,001 different sounds just by the way it's being handled. A map being crushed sounds very different to a map being folded, so this is where accurate mimicking comes in. If the character has the map out on display and is climbing down the hill, mimic the movement as close as you can by opening up the map and slightly bouncing it up and down. If the character holds the map out and swings it, do the same thing. Don't record generic Foley, it never sounds very good. Get particular and mimic the actions as accurately as possible. Number 4. Beefing up the props. With something like a backpack, it would be easy enough to grab an empty rucksack and shake it around in time with the character on screen. This may sound okay, but it doesn't sound at all interesting. Instead, you can beef up the sound of a prop by adding weight. For rucksack sounds, I like to take a set of mess tins and place them at the top of the pack. They will rattle around and add some dynamic kinetic audio. That's right, science is audible. And if the straps are producing an annoying flappy sound when you record, just tuck them in. Sound design is your choice. So if you find the sound can be annoying, chances are the audience will find it annoying too. Number 5. Environmental interaction. If your character interacts with the environment, 9 times out of 10 it will produce a sound, so don't ignore these. In the scene Lost in the Forest, you can clearly see our character causing a bunch of dry leaves to roll down the hill as he steps down. Yes, we have footstep sound, but the sound of leaves falling down a hill will produce something very different. So grab some dead leaves and record brushing and moving them with your hand. This subtle sound effect will really help sell the effect that the audio is actually in the scene. Number 6, here's a bonus one for you. Don't forget your Atmos. The final element to add into the scene will help ground it in reality and trick the audience into believing these sounds were actually recorded on the day, and that's ambient noise from the location. If it's inside, you can use room tone, and if it's outside, you'll need some Atmos. For the Lost in the Forest scene, we recorded Atmos at the location, but it sounded like this. That horrible droning wind is actually the sound of cars on a motorway over a mile away, so instead I found this track from freesound.org. Adding Atmos into your scene will help smooth over the otherwise moments of silence between the sound effects. If you like this video, why not check out our series on Foley, including how to set up a DIY Foley pit and how we actually record sound effects. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and remember to achieve it one shot at a time.